pull up a chair. This is Off the Back Porch. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get in the woods, the water, or to the camp is at Country Village Sporting Goods. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy at State Farm is there. And Larry's Pizza in El Dorado, home of the Double Pizza Parade.
20-plus years of bringing you the most important and latest information with local happenings, news, sports, opinions, and probably an attempt at humor. Also brought to you in part by Davis Farms Country Market. For farm to table fresh, it's Davis Farms Country Market. Cook's Body Shop. Chances are it will happen. And when it does, look to Cook's. Murphy Arts District. For the latest information on concerts and events, go to eldomad.com.
Recorded live from Main Street Pizza in historic, beautiful downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. With a history of being the voices you trust. This is Off the Back Porch with Boomer and Sandy. Or Sandy and Boomer. Or two old guys you've known for a long time, whatever. And now your hosts, Troy, Boomer, Barrios, and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Hey, welcome for another edition of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, this week we are somewhere different. Normally we're at Main Street Pizza.
Yes.
And we're brick baked as best. But this week we're over visiting with our friends at Country Village Sporting Goods.
We're in my element here, Sandy. You know, anything camouflage, that's my color.
That's your signature color?
That's my signature color, camouflage.
Kind of like on Steel Magnolia.
Yeah.
Pink is my signature color.
No, it's blush and bashful.
Yeah.
Your colors are pink and pink.
It is way scary that we both know way too much about that that movie and how to quote it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to quote The Godfather, Goodfellas. You know,
Yeah.
Funny how? Like a clown?
Like you think I'm funny? How? Yeah.
I'm here to amuse you. So, hey, again, welcome to this week's edition of Off the Back Porch. And we've just been having a blast doing this show, being back together again.
Yeah.
And really, Boomer, I am like you. I like being here. Matter of fact, Fru called me before you got here, and she said, make sure he don't pull no credit cards out while he's there.
Make sure that red stays in his pocket. Yeah.
So, anyway, hey, it is that time of year. 'Tis the season, Boomer.
Yeah.
You know what season I'm talking about?
Well, what?
Graduation season.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm already into it. I've got some happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least, for example, you have a granddaughter graduating.
Yeah, I do. I have a granddaughter graduating.
And that's great. I am getting graduation invitations from people I've never heard of.
Well, you know, and I love it. Nothing says I need money more than a graduation that was your cousin's grandmother's baby child that you hadn't seen since they was in diapers. Or,
since they were like chewing on the remote or something like that. Yeah. So I got one yesterday from a kid, Bryce.
Okay.
No clue.
No ID.
No clue whatsoever. I looked at the picture. I asked everybody in my house, anybody know who this kid is? Like, no return address. It just says mom's house.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
On the return address?
I should have brought the envelope with me just so I could prove to you. It just says mom's house.
Now, nothing is more apropos than seeing a kid with crossed arms leaning up against a tree like he's got the whole world figured out.
Oh, yeah, because they have. At that point, they've already figured out everything, and they've got everything figured out. And so, yeah, that's definitely also, there's always that heartfelt note in there that's like, I'll be attending uber expensive university and, majoring in biology. I'm thinking, kid, you did good to get every D you ever got. You need to stay away from biology. That's
so I'm thinking about maybe sending them a picture of me leaned up against a tree with a picture of my still student loans.
With your student loan debt,
Yeah, that'll be your future.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to start sending out reverse invitations, and that's going to be me either like with my pants rolled up, to my calves and standing in a spring. Or maybe I'll go downtown where those angel wings are painted on the side of that building, take a picture of me there, and send out invitations. Come celebrate me that I didn't sit through another 3-hour graduation and listen to them mispronounce everyone's name.
Yeah, like now coming across the stage, Travina, Trayvon Smith is yeah.
Always a gamble.
Yes, sir.
Always a gamble. So I'm thinking, and people will tell me, they'll say, oh, you don't have to come to graduation, but come to the house and celebrate, because that's what I can't wait to do, is to go to your mom's house where there's nowhere to sit because the cats live here. You're just visiting.
Yeah.
Now, I could be like a cat and sit on the counter where they're preparing the food.
Yeah.
Like the cats do.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
And you know what they step in, and then they come jump up on the counter. See, now
can't do it.
Now, see, I know my dogs. My dogs live in my house.
Yeah.
But they're not stepping in it and then jumping up on the counter.
Right.
They jump up on the couch. Now, we put covers over the couch and all that. But anyway.
But your dogs also don't act like I'm imposing on them when I come over to your house.
So let me tell you a quick graduation story. I know we need to move on, but I did get an invitation for graduation from where I used to live in Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't recognize the young man. I didn't, and it was from Elk City, Oklahoma. And so Martha says, Troy, who is this? I said, well, let me figure it out. And I didn't read Elk City. I just read El Dorado. And I started looking for the person's name in El Dorado and all that on Facebook. And she goes, no, read it again. It's Elk City. I said, baby, I moved away from Elk City 36 years ago. So I messaged my nephew and I said, Corey, I said, help me out here. I said, old man memory going on here. I said, who is Kyler Welch? He said, well, that's Michelle's, his sister, my niece. Mm-hmm. That's Michelle's daughter's son, Whitney. That's Whitney's son graduating. I said, Whitney was still sucking on a pacifier when I left Oklahoma.
So this isn't Whitney's child. It's Whitney's daughter's child.
Well, it's Whitney's child, but Whitney is the daughter of Michelle, who is my brother's daughter, my niece.
Okay.
So it's 3 generations down.
So it's
from
like
me.
Like great nephew twice removed. Well,
it's great nephew. Yeah. Wow. And I knew who he was. If they'd have said, Kyler, little Kyler, yeah.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen Kyler in, about 8 or 9 years, so now he's graduating.
And he doesn't care to see you either.
No, he doesn't. He
just send him a Benjamin. Yeah. That's what he cares about.
Is that a 50?
No.
What is a Benjamin?
Benjamin's one of them long wheelbase 10s.
Oh, see, I don't see that much. So who's on the 50? Grant?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any of them either. Whew.
You better get you some.
I got them kids.
Graduation.
I got all them kids. I've been trying to tell y'all.
Oh, and I saw one of the number ones had left his phone open, and one of the number twos started posting on his phone.
Yeah,
that's funny. Don't do that.
Yes, yeah.
Because I did that once in the studio and wound up with "I'm a Barbie Girl" as my ringtone.
Man, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I don't know who did that.
It was so funny because I could do it without watching. I'd be sitting there with Boomer's phone below the table, and I'm like, I'm Bluetoothing Barbie Girl to his phone, and then changing his ringtone, so that no matter when it rang, it was going to be Barbie Girl.
Well, old people in technology just don't work well.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. So the funny part is watching him trying to get out, try to figure out why it's doing that. I'm like, Boomer, just live your life, man. It's okay. We accept you for who you are. So
I told you, hey, and I'm jumping around here, but I got to get this out because if I don't, I won't remember it. I told you that you know that I'm afraid of small people.
I've heard this.
So, and I told you I kept talking about it, and now it's all up over my phone, no matter where I'm at. TikTok, Facebook, Reels, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I got small people doing things and making videos of it. Okay. So last night I had one and I said, I'm going to send this to Sandy just to prove it to him. It's on Facebook, So I'm sending it to Sandy, and all of a sudden, and I had used a caption that only me and you would, that I wouldn't say in public, but I'd say it to you.
Right.
Well, I posted it. And it stayed on there probably less than a minute. But I said, I'm going to be excommunicated from everything this wholesome.
Canceled. Boomer has been canceled.
Because he hates everybody.
So a number of years ago, my lovely wife was posting. I think it was for one of the kids' birthdays, and as she and I both do, we post 100 pictures.
Yeah.
To go with their birthday post. Well, she just went through her phone. She's like, select, posted it. Hour or so later, her phone rings. Friend of hers saying, "Hey, did you mean to post that?" And she's like, "Post what?" "On so-and-so's birthday, you posted those pictures." "Yeah, I meant to post them." "Have you looked at all those pictures?"
You better run through them.
And she's like, "Oh, God, what?" And she explains it to her.
What it was?
Mm-hmm. And it was an unflattering photo of a woman in a bathing suit.
Backwards?
There were things that were protruding from the bathing suit that should not have been protruding.
Okay.
And somehow that ended up in the kid's birthday post.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
She got that out. So since you brought it up, I actually had that for later in the show.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Let's talk about it here.
Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah.
So, as Boomer just mentioned, you can have your phone sitting around and talk about any number of things.
Yeah.
And it will, all of a sudden, that'll be all over your Facebook feed,
It will.
TikTok,
It's listening.
Instagram, whatever, Twitter. Oh, yeah. Definitely always listening. Here's what gets me. I can have a dream about a new set of golf clubs, and all of a sudden, that's all over my feed on whatever social media I get on.
Okay.
Just from a dream. But I go to tag you in a photo or tag you in a comment.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it finds every Troy in the world other than Boomer.
Oh, yeah.
Every other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Or I go to check in somewhere, we're eating at such and such, or we're at such and such. And it takes me to Venezuela. And it's
Yeah.
like, y'all think I'm in Venezuela now.
Yeah. You got me on GPS. You got me,
Y'all got me down. Y'all got down to whether the phone's in my right pocket or left pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're trying to send me to the United Arab Emirates. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah. So
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
We need to talk to Mr. Meta. The owner of Facebook.
Oh, that guy.
Meta. Mr. Meta.
Well, Bezos is a nice guy. The Amazon guy. Trump said he's a nice guy.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, he said he was going to put the tariff prices on there, and he says, "Oh, that was a mistake. No, we ain't putting that on there." That's because he got that space race thing going on, and it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, here's what I find funny. So they sent up, what was it? They sent up 5 women in a rocket ship, right?
Yeah.
Well, just hear me out.
A Winnebago type thing.
Yeah, but they left Earth.
Yes.
They sent them up into the wherever, stratosphere, whatever, and landed them back safely on Earth, which was fabulous. But here was the amazing part to me. All of a sudden, the media knows what a woman is. I thought we didn't know. I thought we had to be told. I thought, did all 5 of those come out and say she, her? I mean, how do we know?
Yeah, how do we know?
How do we know those were 5 women?
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
according to the media. But all of a sudden, they know what women are.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the day and what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And how does it look for Trump? Yeah. That's the other thing. They want to know.
That's the thing that gets me. We try not to get political on this, but, I told Fro last night, I said, when Clinton was president, I didn't agree with him on everything. But if it was for the good of the country and he balanced our budget, I mean, he
did a lot of
great things. He had to use some voodoo economics like Reagan did. But he balanced the budget so it was for the good of the country. I'm telling you, Clinton, what's our president's name?
Donald Trump.
Trump could find a cure for cancer, and it would be wrong. He did it too quickly, or he hurt the cancer industry.
Yeah, all those people who are out of work now making cancer drugs.
Yeah,
because Donald Trump cured cancer.
He cured cancer, and all we had to do was get some Gila Monster spit. It's a real thing, by the way.
It is, I know, and that's why I'm not saying anything else about it. But I'm like you. He could save a kid from drowning.
Yeah.
And they would criticize the way he did it.
Yeah. You should have laid down on the ice instead of just breaking the ice because
now global warming.
Yeah, because all the meltage.
Now Al Gore's going to have to come and do a concert to cure what you just did.
And he has to ride on that plane, because he can't take all that time boarding and everything.
Right.
All right.
And that plane they keep running all the time.
So graduation. Let's see. Let's recap here. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about graduation, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, at the end of graduation, we were talking about cats on the counter. And that's why I'm kind of iffy around potlucks.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about potlucks when we come back, and we'll tell you more about that. We are at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado. Everything you need to get you on the water, in the woods, you can find it here at Country Village Sporting Goods. Express boats. They have the Catalina Series trailers out there. What else have you got over there?
Man, full line of lacrosse boots.
Yes.
They have waders out here. Banded sporting goods, banded hunting wear, like you said, boats and campers, and fishing equipment, full line. Lew's rods and reels, and Lew's reels. I've got several of them, and they're very good. All the soft plastics, all the lures, topwater lures, everything that you need, and then a whole archery section over there as well.
Yeah. And then also don't forget turkey season is going on through May 11th.
Yeah.
And they have a whole new supply of turkey calls.
Yeah.
And so you can come by here and check that out. That's all at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado. We'll be back right after this with more of Off the Back Porch.
This is a nightmare.
Someone call for a nightmare?
Hang on. That's your nightmare? Some roof damage? I'm a professional. I deal with real nightmares. You just need to sing the State Farm jingle.
State Farm jingle?
Do it!
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm can help with your claim. We're here when you need us.
Great. Can you get rid of it?
Ooh, we getting rid of. Wait.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Life happens. And sometimes that means life throws you a curveball and someone hits your car. You don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to deal with it. That's why Jody Cook and Cook's Body Shop is here. Whether it's an insurance claim or some cosmetic work you've been putting off for far too long, check with our friends at Cook's Body Shop. They are the official body shop partners for the Off the Back Porch podcast. When it happens, look to Cook's.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, I'm proud and happy today that we're here at Country Village Sporting Goods. Was walking around a little bit ago, and I could spend a lot of money in here.
Yeah, it'd be real easy.
And
before I even got in, there's a boat out there that I'm just a sucker for boats. Mm-hmm. But if you put camo on a boat, because that's, like I said a while ago, that's
your
my
signature color, right?
And that bottom land too. Yeah. Woo.
Hey, hopefully here in a minute we'll get. They have these really nice thermos cups. Okay. And I'm going to grab a couple of them here in a minute, and we'll have those. Show you those as well. Plus, you can see all of the clothes and the boots behind us. They actually have a clearance rack over here, and so His Royal Highness, the 5-year-old, was here with me. I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. We came in, and he hightailed it almost directly behind me, all the way against that wall.
Okay.
There's a set of kids' bib overalls.
Oh my!
Camouflage. And he made it known those will be his. He didn't ask.
He needs those.
He didn't ask. He just let me know. Daddy, those are mine.
Well, good. You just need to get them.
So that's all I got to do. Mm-hmm. That's all I got to do is just get them.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, repping my brother from another mother, Flint Thompson, and some merch that I got from his website, and. We had Flint come in and actually do part of the summer concert series back years ago when you and I did something, productive.
The thing.
But Flint came here. Of course, he has that big hit with My Time With You. Yeah. And he came and sang here for us at the summer concert series. Huge turnout for him. I remember that as well. That was a great show. But he's back to making music and doing really, really well. I see him on the charts a lot, and so he's charting well and doing great, and very proud of him and for him. And couldn't happen to a better guy. I mean, he's not only is he a fabulous singer and entertainer, but he's a great songwriter and a fabulous Christian man. He's just really a good guy. Yeah. So, before we took the break, I was talking about cats on the counter and potlucks. I'm nervous. I'm nervous around potlucks because. You go to a church potluck and you're like, who made that? Yeah. Because I want to know if I've seen their house. If I've seen inside your house, and I'm afraid to sit down, I'm sure not going to eat anything you
If
made.
it's Sister Jenkins with the 6 cats, like you said,
Yeah, I'm a little iffy on that kind of stuff.
and it's potato soup that's real easy to spoil anyway.
Oh man, yeah. That and again, if you're nasty, I'm not going to eat your food, and you can get your feelings hurt all you want to. I just won't come. How about that? And a matter of fact, I skip a lot of potlucks. If they're like, "Oh, it's a potluck, everybody's bringing something," I'm like, let me bring enough for me to eat then.
There's always that one guy that comes that has a 2-liter soda from somewhere, like Mr. Pibb reconstituted or something, and hey man, I brought the refreshments, and it's hot.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate that.
There's 100 people there.
Yeah, 1 2-liter, and by the way, Aunt Carol, she brought a lasagna that weighs more than your head. It smells like childhood and garlic heaven. And he.
What? Childhood and what?
And garlic heaven.
Oh, okay.
And he thinks somehow they're equal because he brought a 2-liter of Dr. Pibb Sam Dew or something. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kevin. We are not the same.
Then there's always that one dish that's a mystery dish. You don't know what to label it. You have 0 clues. It looks like a science experiment. I'm telling you. Hey, if you got to ask if it's a dessert or a side dish, it's probably both. And also neither.
And I'm probably not going to eat it. I'm just saying. Yeah. Again, I always look at, man, my sister, her ex.
Okay.
So one year, a couple years ago, I made, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 racks of ribs. My cousin Barrett and I, we were up all night cooking ribs. And and man, did we make some awesome. They were good. They were some of the best ribs I've ever made. And we made all those, chopped them all up, got them in pans, kept them warm, took them out there. And old buddy shows up he said, I brought a brisket.
Yeah.
They pulled the full off that thing. And I jumped back.
Was it char browned or was it not done? Or
I'm not even sure it was a brisket. It was meat.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was like a leg shank or something.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, my mother-in-law, rest her soul, always said that the woman that brings the LeSueur peas, 1 can of LeSueur peas is the one that wants to take home. It's for my baby, and he can't move, and I'm going to bring this dish. But she's bringing it like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
And she's packing all them ribs that you cooked, and like they're the only ones that haven't eaten. And no, we're not going to serve any of this again. You just go ahead and take it all, Sister Sue.
Yeah. No one's going to eat that whole ham.
Yeah,
just take that.
You brought. Yeah.
Yeah, take it and my Tupperware, please.
Yeah,
please take both of them. And here's the one gets me, and this is what's so funny. I actually have a family reunion coming up this weekend, and it's going to be a potluck.
And which family?
The Sanfords.
And where are you going? Center,
Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have it's annual. It's the first weekend in May every year, the weekend before Mother's Day, and it's going to be Borders Sanford cemetery cleaning.
Okay.
So, but all of the people who actually live around there, they already do all the cleaning part.
Okay.
We get there, we visit, and everybody eats. So
yeah.
But there's always that one cousin or aunt or whatever that always has some offhanded comment, some backhanded compliment. So like last year or year before, she comes up, Sandy, it's so good to see you. And my gosh, you still handsome, even if you are fat.
Oh no.
That's what she said.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I guess.
If a person has, I don't know, let's say an arm amputated, you wouldn't go up to him and say, after all these years, you only have one arm, but you're still a nice looking fella. Why would you say it's not okay to call a fat person fat?
All joking aside, I have taught my kids from the time they were very little.
Yeah.
We don't body shame.
Yeah.
We just don't. And here's why. If you've never had to fight that battle.
Yeah.
I'm still a big guy, but I'm 100 pounds less than what I was.
Yeah, you've reduced a lot and kept it off for a lot of years.
But if you've never fought that battle,
Yeah.
you don't know how hard it is.
Yeah.
So if you had a friend who was addicted to crack, the last thing you would ever do is take them crack, right?
Yeah.
But when something happens in someone's life, what do? We
Bring
go home,
them
we
food.
cook for them, we take them these huge meals.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost a loved one? Let's take them a meal. Oh, you had a new baby? Let's take them a meal.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought a new house? Let's take them a meal.
Yeah.
Oh, your kid graduated? Let's take. And so
we encourage it.
we do, and it's really, really tough. It is a hard battle that you fight daily. And if you've never had to fight that battle, you have no right to say anything about someone else's size.
Let me see your hands. It's gonna be okay. yeah. No, I'm with you.
I tell my kids I've told them since they were very, very little, we don't body shame. It's just, it's not cool.
Well, from last year, I'm 50 pounds lighter than I was last year. And Fro said, that's enough now. You're starting to look like an old man. I said, that's because I is an old man.
Because I've made it long enough to be one.
That's an old man.
So, yeah, that's, but yeah, we'll have that. I'll have that family reunion this weekend.
Well, Sandy, I guess I haven't met enough of your family. The ones that I know have passed.
Yeah.
I don't know your cousins and all that, so I don't know who's going to be there. I mean, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, well,
but,
I don't know who all's going to be there.
But you've got cousins and all. So
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So we're expecting to be pass a good time.
Yeah,
expecting to pass a good time. And but
les bon temps
rouler. That's right.
That's I know enough French to get me in trouble. That's all I know. hey, French word of the day. How about that?
Cajun French.
Word of the day.
Couillon. No, wait, not that.
No,
one.
no, not that one.
Okay.
But you know what a couillon is, though.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
It's a nicer way of saying an idiot.
Yeah, or a goat. You're just a dummy. A cabri.
A cabri is a goat. Yeah.
So, canton.
Canton.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not consent.
Consent.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Listen, okay, I'm gonna use it in English.
Okay.
And put consent in it, and you're gonna know what it is.
Okay.
Because you probably had this. Your daddy, your grandpa said, "Listen, do you have some clean consents on in case you get in a wreck?"
Ah, so your undergarments, your drawers.
Your drawers. Now, one that I knew emphatically from my Cajun grandmother was "Chat, c'est toi."
C'est toi.
C'est toi.
I know what that is.
C'est toi is what it but most Cajuns just say, they don't put the c'est toi.
But that's not how they say it.
Yeah, if they say c'est toi,
yeah,
that means sit your little self down. Because I was always, hey man, my grandmother said, Troy Michael, you're going to have to sit down a little bit. Now I wish I could have that energy. Anyway, so.
He's not much about sitting down. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He does move around quite a bit. And if you get too still for too long, he'll go to sleep.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't get nobody calling me, and on 2 shows we've done, I've had the same guy call me twice on the 2 shows.
He wants to be on. That's all it is.
No, he doesn't know we're on right now. I mean, he knows we're doing it, but he doesn't know we're doing it right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I got you.
Gotcha. So, hey, I want to talk to you about our friends at Davis Farms Country Market out on Junction City Highway. Now, here's what's going on out there, and it's just for a limited time, so that's why you need to pay special attention. They have fresh, homegrown, locally grown strawberries. And the strawberry crop has been battered. I saw it on TV the other day. We're talking about, strawberries. The costs are going to be through the roof this year because the strawberry crops nationally have been wiped out because of weather. And
flooding and just
flooding,
severe weather,
way too wet, and a lot of the strawberry crops have been damaged.
Yeah.
And so while they last, they still have some fresh, locally grown strawberries at Davis Farms Country Market on Junction City Highway. Also, you can go out there and check out all the spring vegetables that they have in stock. They're getting more every single day. They have baked goods that have been baked by local people right here in town or right here in the area. You can go out there and order you a cow. I did. I ordered me a half a cow.
Yeah.
And so that's all at Davis Farms Country Market, Junction City Highway in El Dorado. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer.
Everybody loves a parade, and Hilarious Pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Hilarious Pizza offers. Come join us at Hilarious Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. The tackle department is growing, with new stuff arriving every week. And Country Village Sporting Goods has just received a new shipment of Woodhaven turkey calls. Everything you need to get you on the water or in the woods, you'll find it at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway.
Welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. He's Boomer. I'm not, even though I still sign his name to the tickets out at the country club. And
you know my number.
Yeah, I do. Boomer, you need to come pay this bill. Man, I don't remember coming out there and eating all that.
Months.
Yeah. I drank how much? Yeah, just go pay it, Boomer. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Well, Boomer, as our weekly show goes, and I actually was chastised because last week we did not do a segment called Florida Man.
Oh, we skipped over it?
I
don't. We got to talking.
It was so full. Our segments were so full last week. It was, I guess we just missed out. But anyway, this is our segment we call Florida Man. A 41-year-old Josh Manfred and his 23-year-old nephew Pruitt Manfred decided to take a leisurely trip to the Ace Hardware in Woodville, Florida. Incidentally, right outside Woodville, Florida, there's a place, and I haven't been there. I just saw it on Google Maps. But there's a place called the river that runs under the bridge.
That's what that's the name of the place?
Name of the place. The river that runs under the bridge.
The river that runs under the bridge.
As opposed to...
something river.
Well, as opposed to around the bridge or over the bridge or through the bridge.
You want it to run under the bridge.
I was thinking...
That's the whole purpose of a bridge, Sandy.
This is an engineering marvel that we have here. This river actually runs
right
under the bridge.
Right here in Florida.
So they take a trip down to the Ace Hardware in Woodville, Florida. Police got a call that a burglary.
You know who's at the Ace Hardware store? You know who's there?
Who's that?
Helpful Hardware. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
Police got there to check out the burglary that had went on at the store, and they found muddy tracks from a lawnmower. Evidently, it appeared they had hooked up to the fence with a lawnmower and pulled the fence down to gain access. Also, they found some other areas of the fence that had been cut open, a security camera that had been sprayed with white paint.
Yeah.
Store manager reported that 2 pressure washers, an undetermined number of battery-powered hand tools, and a generator were stolen.
Yeah.
And so police are wrapping up their investigation. They're getting ready to leave. And one of the other officers yells out and says, "Hey, y'all come here and check this out." So the other officers walk outside just in time to see a man come by on a lawnmower with an empty trailer behind him. The guy waves at him. Police wave at him. He drives on, and he takes a left on this dirt road that the police know is a dead end, and goes around behind this pasture, this field that's behind the hardware store.
Okay.
So they say they done stashed that stolen stuff.
All their stolen stuff.
So the police go out there, and they stay low through the field. They hear the lawnmower cut off. They get behind this little grove of trees, and lo and behold, there's the man and his nephew.
Okay.
Loading up the generator and the power washers onto this trailer.
Yeah.
Police identify themselves. They run out, tell everybody to freeze. Well, the nephew doesn't freeze. He decides he's going to take off. And he gets
across an open field?
No, he gets in his truck.
Okay.
And he's going to haul off in his truck. Well, police surround him, and they, arrest him. Now, the uncle's a good guy. The uncle told police, said, I told him don't steal. But when I knew he was going to do it anyway, I said, I better go with him, make sure he stays safe. He said, because that boy ain't bright. And then told police that I don't want him getting in trouble. Hey. He said, I don't want to get him in trouble for something that's not his fault. That meth that he has down in the shank of his boot, that's mine.
No.
Yes.
So... did he have his name on his shirt, too?
But here's the question, Boo.
Okay.
Did you notice what I said in the story? Police run out.
Yeah.
And they identify themselves, and the old boy's going to run. So what does he do? He jumps in his truck. Why did you need a lawnmower with a trailer if you had a truck?
Wait. Why didn't... okay, what? No, I don't know.
I don't understand. If you have a truck, assuming the truck has a bed on it. Now, the story, maybe it didn't. Maybe it was one of those bottomless trucks, didn't have a bed on it.
So they used a lawnmower to jerk the fence down and steal the stuff with a trailer.
Well, steal the stuff, and they hit
and
it
they
out.
hit it, and then haul the trailer.
goes with
gets the trailer with the lawnmower,
and then comes back.
And dude's truck happens to be there.
Yeah,
the same dude that's got
his nephew
meth in the shank
with the meth in his,
and he's not too bright.
And he's not too bright, according to the uncle. I don't think either one of them's that bright, to be honest with you.
No, that would be my observation. Yeah, life of crime.
So, even if the truck didn't have a bumper hitch to go get the lawnmower, go get the trailer, wouldn't it have been simpler? Evidently it's not that far. If the lawnmower can go get the trailer and bring it back, So wouldn't it have? Just tie it up,
or take the stuff over there to the truck. You had to haul it off. You had to steal it to go somewhere.
Back of the truck.
Yeah, put it in the back of the truck. They needed a third person in that. That's what they needed.
I'm afraid it would have gotten worse.
If they'd have gone from the same gene pool, it would have gotten worse.
So if you want to be a future would-be criminal, Boomer and I are going to give you some pointers at some point.
Yeah.
You just, bring us $500 cash only. We don't accept aluminum cans. We don't accept meth. We don't accept any of that as payment. Bring us cash money. Matter of fact, 5 of them Benjamins we was talking about. 5 Benjamins.
Or some gift cards, some Visa gift cards.
No, I don't want them.
Okay.
I don't want
you
Visa
want Benjamins.
I want pure cash money.
Okay.
Bring us cash money. Tell us your plan of what it is you plan to do, what kind of crime it is you plan to commit.
We'll engineer it for you.
And we will help you see the faults in your plan.
Here would be my number one point. Get a job. That $500, get a job.
Some people work harder
at
crime
than
it is to just have a job.
Yeah.
You going to fall down underneath a truck and cut the catalytic converter out of it while it's hot?
Yeah. To get that to go hawk it somewhere? Oh, Lord. Not me.
Yeah, I'm
First, if I get down, I can't get back up without help.
That's true. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer.
Spring has sprung at Davis Farms Country Market. They're bringing the farm straight to your fork with daily deliveries of crisp local spring vegetables. Think ripe tomatoes, fresh ears of corn, the first batches of cucumbers, and more. And all of it is being grown by nearby farmers. Stop by and taste spring the way nature intended. Only at Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway.
Grammy Award-winning Train, live. August 27th, the Mad Amphitheater in El Dorado, Arkansas. Train, with special guest Edwin McCain. On sale now at eldomad.com. Presented by Save Me San Francisco Wine Company.
Welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer, and we are here at Country Village Sporting Goods on Smackover Highway in El Dorado. Everything you need to get you on the water or in the woods, you can find it here at Country Village Sporting Goods. And now we have our special guest with us this week, and that's Colleen Means from the South Arkansas Arts Center. And Colleen, I talked to you earlier today on the phone, and I was like, good Lord, lady, you got a lot going on.
The list is huge and it is deep. And I'm only talking about things that are happening this month. I mean, it's May and there is so much happening at the South Arkansas Arts Center.
So you have, of course, every summer you have lots of workshops and things like that every summer. But it just looks to me, and maybe I just don't remember correctly, but it just looks like you got a lot more than normal.
There is a lot. We've got at least 4 theatrical opportunities for kids this summer. And even if some of them aren't happening right now, like right now is the time that you get signed up for it. We've got a new feature gallery exhibit coming in, a traveling show that is very exciting, a national artist. And of course, we've got all of those wonderful summer camps the kids can do this summer. And we're about to announce our season of what's coming up. And we have the 5x5 Art Dash on Monday. So, I mean, it just doesn't stop.
What is it? Wait, what is a 5x5 Art Dash?
Okay, this is a really fun little project. It's May 5th.
Okay.
So 5-5, right? So artists paint on 5x5 canvases, and 50 of them do it. And people pay $50 to come to our fundraiser on May 5th, 5-5. And then there's a dash. Like, you don't know whose art you're going to get. Like, it'll be all over the building, all over the gallery. And at some time they'll say, run. And like, you might have 2 or 3 you want. Like, you kind of want to aim for your first choice, but somebody might get there before you. So then you got to turn and run to your second choice. So it's a lot of fun. And, it's Cinco de Mayo. So there is festival appropriate foods and beverages, some sort of, it's a special margarita. I don't remember the name of it, but they have it every year. And there's snacks, which include things like taquitos, things like that. And, just cookies and treats and all that kind of stuff. So it's an hour party, and somewhere in the middle of the party, you get to run and get a piece of art.
That is so cool. I like that. And I like all the, like you said, the 5x5 with the May 5th and, 5x5 canvas. And that's so cool. I like that. What else? I know, let's see, I think you have a 24-hour musical camp.
Yeah, the first thing that's going to happen of our theater opportunities is a 24-hour musical theater camp. It's for kids that are in junior high and high school, and they will be doing Fiddler on the Roof Junior, which is a full musical. It should run about maybe an hour and 15 minutes, but the kids have 2 days to get it ready. So it's kind of like going to a daytime lock-in, like you go in the morning and you get home in time to go to bed, and then you get up the next morning and you work on it, and then at 7:00 that evening you're gonna have the play.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so our directors have done this show before, so like, you probably wouldn't want to do a show you know nothing about in 24 hours, but they have done it, and so they're very familiar with the piece. And it's very character driven, and it has great songs and lots of feature characters that people can be in. So they are signing up for that right now. Like, only 30 kids get to do it. The first 30 kids to sign up for camp will do Fiddler on the Roof at a 24-hour summer camp.
Wow. So what is the summer musical this year?
It is Hairspray. It's an iconic 1960s fun dance, fun music. It addresses sort of the racial times, being inclusive of everybody, like everybody getting to go to the TV show, the Cornley Collins TV show, Dance Spectacular. And of course, our big girl, Tracy, turns out to be the star of the show. And so we've got some great roles for a mixed race cast. And of course, a super feature role for Tracy. And of course, Tracy's mom is also really special too. So that's another wonderful, iconic role that somebody will get to come and spend the summer with us doing.
And I think I saw something about the Lion King.
Oh, now the Lion King is super special because it is the Penguin Project. And I don't know if your listeners have heard about the Penguin Project, but it was started in, the early 2000s by a medical doctor who did community theater. And he thought, my patients, which were children that were with autism and, lots of other on the spectrum, the spectrum's pretty wide, how much they could benefit from getting to do community theater. And so he just started a project for them. So they're going to do a musical. It's called The Lion King, and any child, 2nd through 12th grade. Technically, some people are in 12th grade longer than others. So you might be 19 or 20 and still in 12th grade. And if you
some
have
of us act like
needs,
we're still in 12th grade.
And they will work with you whatever your need is. Like most recent one, we had one of the actors that was in a wheelchair, and so each actor is paired with a mentor and a peer mentor. Like they probably even know him at school, and like one kid just might need help getting to their spot on time. Well, this child needed help driving his wheelchair around, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what your special need is, what level of disability versus ability you have. If anybody is on the special needs spectrum, Down syndrome, autism, I mean, it's big.
Again, yeah,
Right.
the spectrum is wide.
Yeah. And so coming up and pretty soon on the 13th, so about 2 weeks away, the directors are going to gather everybody together that wants to do the play, and they'll basically be doing some theater games, just kind of getting everybody, seeing their personalities, see who would pair up well. And based on these theater games, they're going to cross the play.
That is so cool.
Yeah. But the play isn't until late summer, but registration and getting involved is 2 weeks away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like so much fun. So again, and that we've just touched on just like 2 or 3 things, but you've got a whole list of activities that's still going on.
Yeah. So it keeps coming. I got lots of little pieces of paper. And of course, we've got the iconic summer camps.
Mm-hmm.
There's art camps for assorted ages. There's drawing on the iPad. There's art meets science. There's ballet. There's a ballet story time. So that's really open even to some first-time ballerinas. That would be a great one to come to. Just get a little movement, spend some time doing some storytelling. But they also will do a big ballet camp at the end of the year, at the end of the summer. It'll be a whole week, get their costumes together, build their set, and dancing and everything all in 1 week, or 1 week, not weekend. So yeah, there's it's crazy how much there is to do.
Of course, the website for anyone who wants to go is
sac-arts.org. So like our initials, SAAC-ARTS.org.
And if they want to call and talk to you?
870-862-5474.
So that is all. That's not all. Let me back up. That is a very small portion of what's going to be going on at the South Arkansas Arts Center. Last week, Boomer and I were talking about the Arts Center, and we just talked about, there's just not a whole lot of cities in Arkansas or in America, for that matter, of our size that have such a cosmopolitan ability with something like our Arts Center. It really is one of its kind.
I'll tell you, that's one of the reasons I'm so proud to work there. The Arts Center tries to do a little something for everyone. It doesn't matter what your age is, what your financial abilities are. Yes, we need donors, we need sponsors. We're an independent nonprofit. That's the only way we keep open. But then we're also doing things like the Free Penguin Project. Anybody can come down, get involved, and do it. And of course, the one thing that seems like maybe kind of gets left out is the gallery. The gallery is there 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe only a few days in between shows when it's not open with a new exhibit. You don't have to register or sign up for that, so we don't really talk about it as much. But right now, there's an amazing artist with some El Dorado ties, Gail Hurley. Her husband, Ed Hurley, grew up here in El Dorado. Mm-hmm. And so her exhibit is in there right now, and she is an amazing artist. She works in many different medias. They're wonderfully put together, well executed. Not having somebody talented in that many different directions of type things that she creates is rare, I believe. But right on the heels of her, we're going to have the Walter Anderson exhibit coming in, and it's a touring show that was put together by his museum. So that's going to be here for about 2 months. And like the 16th, like in 2 weeks, we'll have the gallery opening. So people come down and have some, they usually do really good snacks for these openings too.
Yeah.
So, have some wine, some beers, some punch. It's more than cheese and crackers.
Yes.
You can come, have an enjoyable evening, see the art, enjoy it. So like the Walter Anderson will be really great. And it's getting here just in time to do some school tours before the schools close out. So don't forget to come see the gallery.
I was at the gallery month and a half ago, I guess. I guess all the elementary, well, it wasn't just elementary. It was like
student art competition.
The student art competition. Yeah, I was there for that.
Was that not amazing? How the work those kids did?
Didn't see any beer or wine at that though.
Yeah. Well, that was one.
Just saying.
That is one we don't bring the beer and wine out.
I did pick it at one of the people who was out there kind of straightening up and cleaning up, making sure everything was full, and bringing refreshments back out. And I said, hey, listen, I know somewhere in that back room.
There is.
And they were like, yeah, but it's not coming out.
Not this show.
And I was like, look, I got one of these tins right here. No, sorry, can't.
See, you should have come and found me, because I would have taken you to the kitchen.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and certainly, putting your reputation online, being on here with a podcast with me and Boomer. So
we love Boomer.
We've been having so much fun, but we're super excited about all that's going to be going on at South Arkansas Arts Center. And again, that's saac-arts.org if you want to go to their website. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch coming up right after this.
Thank you.
Life happens. And sometimes that means life throws you a curveball and someone hits your car. You don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to deal with it. That's why Jody Cook and Cook's Body Shop is here. Whether it's an insurance claim or some cosmetic work you've been putting off for far too long, check with our friends at Cook's Body Shop. They are the official body shop partners for the Off the Back Porch podcast. When it happens, look to Cook's.
Welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And we are here at Country Village Sporting Goods. Yes, right there. Country Village Sporting Goods. And
shirts, caps.
But that's only a very small, minor drop in the bucket of what you can find here, and everything you need to get you on the water, in the woods, you'll find it here at Country Village Sporting Goods. So I told you I have a family reunion coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to the incident. And by the incident, if I saying that here, any of my family or friends down in Shelby County, Texas, they know what I'm talking about. The incident that happened at our family reunion. And so, it's always exciting. But this particular year we were at Uncle Ray's, and, because nothing says family reunion time like East Texas humidity and dodging goat droppings.
Ooh.
While you're, there.
So Uncle Ray had goats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uncle Ray's farm. And it was like every other family reunion for the most part. I mean, someone grilled the hot dogs too early. Aunt Linda brought her famous potato salad, and we call it famous potato salad because it's famous for sending 3 people to the emergency room last year.
Yeah.
From that potato salad.
Yeah.
Cousin Derek started a cornhole tournament that no one else wanted to participate in, and then he got mad, took his cornhole boards, threw them in his truck, and drove off and left.
Nobody just wanted to play beanbag.
Well, it's 102 degrees.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's an evening time game.
Sure. That's more like a drinking game.
More so, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're on that Oscar Mayer tournament or whatever it's called.
Yeah, whatever it is. Then, of course, we always have that moment of remembrance for those who aren't there.
Yeah.
And last year we actually realized that no one had died. It was just that 3 of our family members were guests of the great state of Texas in a minimum security correctional facility.
So they weren't able to come even at the minimal place.
They weren't able to be there.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
were they the ones that you went fishing with in that gated community or the big fence around it? No. With the big at that federal.
You're not supposed to talk about that.
You're going to have to be quiet up in here.
Okay, real quick. In a certain part of East Texas, there are lignite mines.
Yes.
And so there's a company, Texas Utilities Mining Company, they go through and they mine the lignite, right? Mm-hmm. And once that mine has been exhausted,
they leave a pond.
They make a pond out of it.
Oh, but I didn't know that. I'm just guessing. They really do.
They really do.
Okay.
They make a pond out of it, and then they churn that land over to the state. Mm-hmm. And the state, Texas has a program called Share a Lone Star Lunker. So if you catch a Florida hybrid bass, a big mouth bass, that weighs 10 pounds or more, you can take it to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, your local game warden. He will take possession of it. They will keep it alive, and they will breed these extra large Florida hybrids, and
they put them in them ponds.
And that's where they put them, is in them ponds. Mm-hmm. Well, I have a pair of
cousins. You had knowledge of that.
I had a pair of cousins who happened to live directly across the road from one of them ponds. And when I say directly, I mean
right there.
Right there. And listen.
This is a true story.
This is absolutely true. So
I thought this was one that could have been a true story.
Mm-mm. All up and down that fence, that like 7-wire barbed wire fence, 7-strand. No, it wasn't electric, thankfully. But there are signs all over that thing saying There's no leniency. If you are caught on this property, you will be prosecuted. It is surveyed by the air. It is surveyed by ground, and they don't play about that.
They're serious.
So my cousins
So
and
y'all
I,
took that as a challenge.
we did. being minors,
I'm Billy the Kid. You can't catch me.
It's actually I'm the bandit. But
I'm
anyway,
the bandit, yeah.
Anyway,
when you say East Texas, that yeah, go ahead.
So we go over to this pond, and there's one like a little grove of trees between the pond and the road.
Okay.
So that you can't see it when you're driving down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd be over there fishing, and you'd hear a car coming, and we just fall straight down on the ground. It didn't matter if it was water moccasins, whatever. We just fall straight down on the ground and hide. Airplanes come over, we'd run back up in them trees and hide in them trees until the airplanes went by, and because they would take you to jail.
Yeah.
They did not care. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. You will go to jail. So we're over there one time, and I hang one, man. I thought I was hung up. I mean, just
you pulled on it. It's just nothing moved.
I'm bumping a little worm off the bottom, and I feel that little tap, and so bam, I set that hook, and then it was just like nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and I was like, oh man,
I'm hung up.
So I'm working and working. All of a sudden, it takes off.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay. So we start. I broke the rod. The rod goes down my line into the water.
You still got the reel.
I've got the reel in my hand. A reel and about that much of the rod sticking up above it. And I'm hollering, hey, y'all come help me. Y'all come help me. Well, one of my other cousins, he'd hung into one. And another one, he comes running over there. And I mean, he didn't waste time. Out in the water he went with that fishing line in his hand. And
he's getting to the end of it.
He's trying to.
We're going to land this lunker.
We did. And it was about 8 pounds.
Huh?
Yeah, man, it was a big old
baby one.
Yeah, it was a baby. Yeah,
because they get 15. Those Florida bass.
Yeah, easily. And so, but yeah, that is a true place, and it's just outside of Tatum, Texas, in a little area called Beckville.
Okay.
And my cousin Tony, who calls me quite often, and Tony and his wife, they just had a brand new baby. And
they're going to be at the reunion?
Yeah, they're going to be there. And we were talking on the phone the other night, and we FaceTime each other a lot. And I don't know why, because we look a lot alike. So it's just like looking at ugly. Mm-hmm. But we FaceTime each other the night, and I said, he's like, man, I want y'all to come and stay a weekend and hear my place. And I've done a lot with it, and I've got all these acres and all this land. I said, still got that pond across the street? He's like, yeah. Look, I'm in.
Bring me a new pole.
Yeah, bring a new pole this time.
Oh, man.
But anyway, so family reunion, the incident that we were talking about, and that is, I don't know, it just one of those times, and it was one of my cousins, and I don't remember which one it was, but she come walking out of Uncle Ray's house with a jar. It looked like a baby aquarium, right? I mean, it was just a jar, big old jar of pickles.
Mm.
And, she popped that top of it.
Yeah.
Did that thing. And she said that was an old family recipe, that starter juice that they used in that jar of pickles was like 1890 something. So it's good and fermented, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the uncles, he's like, I'll give $20 to whichever one of y'all can drink the most of that pickle juice. And so, Sanford's being Sanford's, we lined up like it was an Olympic event. And so a couple of my cousins, they get up there and they, dip them out a little cup full. And one of them takes 2 sips and he starts coughing and spitting and then comes up and says he's had spiritual clarity. He had a meeting with God. Another one, he goes over there and just sniffs it and turns green and falls down to the ground. Another one goes over there and he takes that little coffee cup and shoves it aside and gets him a mason jar. Runs it down in there, comes out with it, and drinks that whole mason jar full of that stuff and that brine.
He's going to have sodium overload.
And then he went to sleep under a table with a pickle chip still stuck to his cheek. I mean, it's just, that's...
There is a lot of salt in that stuff, man.
Yeah. Anyway, Uncle Jake, who's 89 years young, and he's like, you boys move out the way. And he takes that big old baby aquarium of pickle juice and just starts drinking it. I mean, just running down both sides like snuff in his mouth, running down both sides of his cheeks. And he just drinks his stuff. And then he starts telling us, that tastes like 1943 and bad decisions. And he starts telling us a story about the time he kissed a nurse back during the war. And come to find out, it wasn't during World War II, like he was trying to get us to think.
Yeah.
It was during Vietnam.
Yeah.
And it was at a Halloween party, and explains why Uncle Jake is still single to this day.
If he's drinking pickle juice.
You know, and of course, during this whole thing, there's a toddler who has on nothing but Crocs and confidence running through the sprinkler. And you know, at the end of the day, everyone gathers for a family photo, and somehow in the group photo, there's a goat has a family reunion shirt on.
Why is there always got to be a goat involved in these bad stories?
Cousin Jess was still over there under that table asleep, and half of us were squinting. Daddy, a couple years ago, Daddy was actually in the group photo holding two ants apart because they were fighting over who brought the best deviled eggs.
Oh, Lord.
And it's just always, you know, I'll say this. Our family may not agree on politics, casseroles, or the proper way to play Boo-Ray.
Yeah.
But we always have a family reunion worth remembering.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Now, you being from down there in South Louisiana, you know all about some Boo-Ray.
Yeah, I do know about Boo-Ray. Yeah, and I want to tell you what, we had family reunions. All of Dad's brothers are gone now. All his family's gone. So they would rotate. It would be at different brothers' houses, and it's always on July the 4th. And then, you know, as families got older, they made it to the last Saturday in June. But at any rate, it was in Breaux Bridge this year.
Yeah.
At my Uncle Lester's. I'm still preteen, maybe. And they had it at like the VFW Hall or something like that. And me and my cousin Brian, we always would have knee-high pop drinking contest. And so you're high on sugar and your stomach hurts and all that.
Yeah.
So we go in, it's hot, you know, and we go in and so they got a band. And I'm thinking, you know, I love music. They got a band. So it's a bunch of little Cajun guys. I mean, they're all, you know, maybe high school age. And let's tell you how long ago this was. They take off their first song was Hey There Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's like back in the 60s, you know. What with a Cajun accent, though.
Yeah.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. You sure is looking good. Yeah. So I said, all right. You know, so they said, all right, thank you. Everybody clapped for them. And they said, we're going to play our next song. Hey there, little Red Riding. These boys, it was kind of like Happy Days all again. All they knew is one song.
Oh, my goodness.
And they played it all afternoon long. They was not bashful about it. They'd get through with it. They'd turn that around and play it again. All my aunts and all them was up there dancing, doing the VFW dance. And me and Brian was laid out from drinking knee-highs and eating hot dogs. But that's my best memory of
some of mine go back, you know,
childhood memories.
My grandmother, her side of the family, her maiden name was Moore, and they were from San Saba, Texas.
Yeah.
She was born in a tent right next to the San Saba River in 1929. And for years, we gathered at that spot where that tent was there on the river. And it's a pecan grove now. And of course, San Saba pecans are world famous pecans. And that's where we had the family reunion. Well, they said, hey, we can't let you do it anymore. We're going to, where that clearing is that y'all go, we're going to plant more pecan trees. And so, you know, we can't do it there. So we started holding it at like the community house there inside the middle of town. And my Uncle J.L., who's from the other side of the family.
Yeah, the Cajun side of it.
Yeah, he came and he playing music. And of course, now these people, they're all in the Texas Hill Country. They don't know what Cajun music is.
They don't know that.
Yeah, they don't. And so he's playing just purely, you know, country music is basically what he's playing. And finally somebody said, I thought he said he was a coon ass. And so next thing you hear is a Jolet Blanc. You know.
Allons danser, Calinda.
So he starts playing some Jolet Blanc.
Jolet Blanc,
yeah. And they got into it, man. They liked it.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Some of my favorite memories involve Uncle JL and those times he'd break out the guitars.
It's not JL if you'd say it.
It's
like
JL.
JL.
Yeah, the Cajuns, they say JL.
Well, it's like if you live in all the way down to Golden Meadow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so where you from? Golden Meadow. How you spell that? You know, when you spell Golden Meadows. I said, oh, Golden Meadows. Yeah, Golden Meadow.
Golden Meadow.
But in the town right north of Golden Meadows, what? Galiana.
Oh.
He says, but it ends in an O. But they don't say O in Galiana. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And they explained themselves different than they did up in Lafayette or Morgan City. It's just, we've talked about that. We're enamored with the Cajun lifestyle.
I mean, the thing is there's so much variety just in that one region.
Yeah.
You know, because if you go to New Orleans, you talk to people in New Orleans, you're not going to pick up, you know, this, oh, yeah, you can really hear that Cajun. No, you can't. No, what you hear is Bronx. It's basically.
Yeah, in New Orleans.
Yeah, in New Orleans. And it's, you know, obviously different, but that's not Cajun.
No.
And Creole and Cajun are not the same thing. And so, you know, it's so much diversity.
It's a mixing pot. It really is.
It is. And but I'll say this. They may not be able to tell you how many acres that is, but they can tell you how much gravy it takes to cover it.
How many crawfish you can raise on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, I got asked the other day, someone said, hey, I was watching your podcast, and Boomer said something about my fine American friend, and you said that was a story for another time. Will you tell that story?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah.
Great story.
I will tell it. So this happened in Shelby County, Texas, and in September of 2001. Well, what else happened in September of 2001?
September 11th.
9/11, that's right. Yeah. So shortly after 9/11, I actually, back when I had hair, we were at the barber shop, and we had this one convenience store in town that had been there since Jesus was a boy. It had been bought out by
Middle Eastern
people, right? And so this guy, it was funny because when he moved to town, he told everybody he was Italian. Sorry, Joe, I don't think you're Italian. I know some Italians, and they don't look anything like you.
Them Italians in Shreveport, they would say they don't know you.
So, but we're all there in the barbershop, and you know, it was shortly after 9/11, and there was a lot of paranoia, and there were stories of people being attacked, and you know, because they were of Middle Eastern descent or whatever. And so the door swings open to the barbershop, and in comes Joe, the new owner of the In-N-Out convenience store. And he comes in and says, hello, my fine American friends. It is me, your friend Joe. And he's got this shaggy-haired guy with him, and he's like, and so that guy sits down, you know, and he says, me, your American friend Joe, I am bringing business to you today. I want everyone here to know that I, Joe, love America.
I'm your buddy.
I love America. We will not forget. So, I have brought my friend Thomas, and he is here to get a haircut today because I, Joe, your American friend, am paying for his haircut. God bless America. God bless the Bush. The president and
president.
And
did you say again?
When he got ready to leave, one of the old guys standing at the door, and he said, y'all ain't gonna believe this. And so we all pop up and look out the window to see it, and he's driving off in his van, and it looks like a dang parade float. It had bunting down the side.
Oh, bunting. I just thought flags.
He had flags all over it. I mean, it looked like someone pranked him is what it really looked like.
Like the flamingo thing.
Or those Post-it note things, you know. Yeah. There were flags all over it, you know. And I mean, he had like a plastic replica of an eagle up on top of it. Flags and bunting all down the side of his little minivan.
Yeah.
And then he calls me, he says, Sandy, I need you to come and let's talk. We're going to do a remote broadcast here at the store. I was like, okay. So go down and talk to him, and he buys a remote broadcast, and we get it all set up, and you know, he gets on the radio with us, which he bought the time.
Yeah.
But I normally would not have recommended it.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to, up until that point, he wanted to draw as little attention to himself as possible.
Okay.
Because he realized he's in the piney woods of East Texas. And it's not known as the most forward-thinking place,
No.
And so he was a little concerned. So he didn't draw attention to himself. But in this instance, he wanted to get on the radio. So he gets on the radio and says, "Hello, all of my country listening American friends. This is your friend Joe. And I am the owner of In-N-Out. And I want you to come by today. You come and this is good deal. This is good deal, Sandy." And it's like he just made it up on the moment. He said, "This is good deal. You come buy a whole tank of gas, I give you peppermints for free."
You buy a tank of gas, you get some peppermints.
And I kind of just shook my head at him. You know, we're on radio, can't nobody see me.
Yeah.
That is not good deal. And I was like, no, not really. Okay, then here. From your American friend Joe, you come, you buy a tank of gas, I give you free American flag. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was little Taiwanese ones, you know.
Yeah, about a 4-inch rectangle, look like a postcard. on a stick.
On a stick, yeah. on a
shish
skewer.
kebab.
Yeah, a shish kebab skewer. But that was the story of hello, my fine American friends.
And I just recalled that the last couple of weeks ago, I think. So.
Yeah, that's but
most of the stuff that we used to do in our former life just really can't be done anymore. Even
no, you can't. I mean,
tongue-in-cheek things that we used to do, and I'm going to tell you, national comedians have run into that as well.
Oh, they've been canceled. Yeah. I mean, they certainly have.
Yeah.
And ask Shane, what's his name? That was on Saturday Night Live for one episode.
Yeah.
So they canceled him quick. No, they brought him back now as a guest host, but Gillis, Shane Gillis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's it.
Dude's funny, man.
He is.
He is funny. I see him when he's on Joe Rogan, and God, that guy is so funny. I still think one of the funniest comedians out there is Joey Diaz, but there's nothing Joey Diaz says that any of us could repeat. I'll just tell you this, Rogan. You give me 3 and I'll take over a whole city.
Yeah. Or the guy that's very Italian did a movie with his daddy, the comedian not Joe. He is hilarious. He actually did a movie with his daddy, Italian movie. His daddy acting inappropriate. Yeah. Shouldn't have brought it up. Can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, they're all having to walk back all the things that we used to do because we used to be able to make fun of each other,
right?
And in jest, you know.
Sergeant Major Cal McCracken will never make a resurgence.
No,
there's no way.
No,
we would be canceled so quick.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I had someone ask me the other day. Said, "I thought you said you were going to bring Cousin Cletus back," and I have some episodes of Cousin Cletus in the can. I've just been kind of afraid to bring them back.
Yeah, or the guy that had the Chinese restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Kim.
Yeah, Mr. Kim, and of course, who would forget Miss Mercille?
Miss Mercille.
Yeah, love Newports and Jesus.
Up yours.
Never ever could you get away with that again.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So we have to be non-funny now.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to catch up with what's going on around the area, and this is not a scam. Coming up right after this on Off the Back Porch.
Grammy Award-winning Train, live. August 27th, the Mad Amphitheater in El Dorado, Arkansas. Train with special guest Edwin McCain. On sale now at eldomad.com. Presented by Save Me San Francisco Wine Company.
Welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. We are here at Country Village Sporting Goods, and Boomer and I have been wandering around during our breaks and looking at stuff, and I found a whole bunch of stuff I need to put on my wish list.
You know what a tiny torpedo is?
Yes.
Yes, they got them over there.
Those head and tiny torpedoes.
And we used to call them hula poppers, but they're chug bugs. They call them chug bugs now.
Yeah, I remember hula poppers and the head and tiny torpedoes. Matter of fact, little top water clear top water.
Yeah.
The daddy had a lake house there in East Texas. It was on a 15-acre private lake. And, man, I'd take that head and tiny torpedo and get down in this one corner with lily pads, pop that thing in there and just start.
Yeah, just working on top of the water.
And it was kind of like riding a roller coaster. I knew it was going to scare the daylights out of me when a big old bass would come yank it out. And but it was one of those scaries that I liked.
Yeah.
The one scary that happened on that lake I didn't like was the time a buddy of mine from high school he and I are out there fishing. He gets hung up in this tree, and we go over there, and he's yanking and yanking and yanking, and that snake fell out that tree into the boat. I didn't like that part.
Because you know what kind of snake it was? One of them bad ones.
A nope rope.
No shoulders. Yeah. Also, local person makes spinner baits. Whidden, Dan Whidden, it makes those, and they've got those here. And I've used a bunch. I've caught a lot of fish with those, and he's got the spinner baits and the one that makes a lot of noise too.
Rattle traps?
No, it's got the
the little propellers on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember which
I know my names of baits, brother. I tell you. Anyway,
let me tell you what you don't know how to do.
What?
Be courteous to someone who's fishing in the back of the boat with you.
Yeah, I'm a front end them.
Boomer and I be fishing. I promise y'all, we're fishing, and he's like, and I'm just sitting there. Eating a sandwich, eating chips. He's like, what are you doing, man? I'm catching fish. Oh, you're catching fish.
Yeah, I can't reach them.
Because you have the boat into the fish like this, where if you would just turn
Not horizontal, but perpendicular.
If you would just turn it this way, we could both be catching fish.
Yeah, but that's not how this works.
He's like, why didn't you say something? I said, I did.
or we'd be brim fishing, and you say, Boomer, we just caught some right there. Why are we moving? Said,
all the time moving.
Because I'm impatient.
All the time moving. We get in some
because we have a boat. I got a trolling motor. I got to use it.
But you don't. That's the thing. You don't have to.
Yes, you do.
You get in them and just fish that hole. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, well, it's fine. I gave the boat away. There you go.
Yeah, well, that didn't work.
You can call that guy.
Yeah, I bet he won't do that.
No.
Now, Boomer jump a stump too. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I told Fru one time. I said, "Listen, you don't have to jump every time we hit a stump because we're out here where the stumps live.
This is their house.
This is their house.
This is their house.
We're gonna run over them."
Yeah.
But anyway. So.
Oh man! But anyways, we're glad to be here at Country Village Sporting Goods. And while we're here, also want to talk to you about our friends at Jason Hardy State Farm. You know, life happens and things happen all the time. I don't know if it happened at your house. I think it was Sunday night. And
lights went out.
Man, and that hail, a huge hailstorm came through the area Sunday night and woke the kid up, and the munchkin, she jumps up. She has a big glass window in her room, big glass window.
The one in the back,
and
back of the house.
Yeah, and so that hail's bouncing off that glass, and it's scaring her. Yeah. And she jumped up, and I got up and was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "That's gonna bust my window." I said, "Nah, it ain't gonna bust the window." And but anyway, so when those things happen, whether it's a hailstorm, it's wind damage, maybe it's an auto accident, whatever it is, like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy and State Farm is there. And you can go by and visit with them and let them give you a quote on what it is that you find important that you need to protect. 600 West Main in El Dorado, Jason Hardy, State Farm Insurance. Boomer, we got some stuff coming up. I mean, a lot of stuff going on in the month of May.
There is. And this weekend, first thing, Crowder's going to be at the First Financial Music Hall on the 3rd, on the 2nd. I'm sorry, on the 2nd. And then on the 3rd, the Mayhaw Festival down on Jackson Street. 33rd year that's been going on, and I'm telling you, if you've never had Mayhaw jelly or been to the Mayhaw Festival, it's a lot more than just jelly. There's all kind of booths going on. They've got a record number of booths this year, I've read, and that'll be going on. And then that evening, Soul Fest, Mr. Mike's Soul Fest going on at the fairgrounds. Braxton Keith is going to be at the First Financial Music Hall on the 3rd. And then on the 15th of May, Corks and Canvas at the Art Center. I don't know if
we didn't talk about that.
And then on the 17th at First Financial Music Hall, Ted Nugent's going to be in town.
Crazy Uncle Ted.
And I don't know if he's going to have any ARs with him. I know he'll have his guitars with him and stuff like that.
I'll tell you this. Last time I saw Ted, he opened for ZZ Top in Shreveport, or in Bossier. And it was right at the beginning of the Iraq War.
Okay.
And while he's out there, he's just,
grinding
on that guitar, this statue of Saddam comes up behind him.
Oh, no.
And I mean, it's got to be like 40-foot tall. This thing's massive. It's just slowly rising up behind him. And he turns around and sees it. He reaches down here and grabs a bow. Heart shot. He shot that.
How cool is that?
Saddam.
How cool is that? And then on the 18th, Shonda Pierce is going to be at the auditorium, Christian comedian, and that'll be a good time. Tracy Lawrence is going to be at the Art Center, at First Financial Music Hall on the 23rd, and then Symphony on the Square on the 24th.
Is so cool.
Yeah.
If you've never been to Symphony on the Square, I promise it is something you will really, really enjoy. It's and it marks the beginning of the Symphony season, and I really like it. The 4th of July that they put on. Of course they'll have several classic events, or they'll have some tribute events. And my wife and I, we went to one. I think it was an Elton John tribute. Mm-hmm. Gosh, it was so good.
I saw the Beatles one that they had, and it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Of course, I remember a full symphony orchestra doing Tiny Dancer.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was cool. Hey, by the way, Trey Barker just brought it over here to remind us that you can actually come qualify to win tickets to go see Ted Nugent at that's going to again be May 17th. You can come qualify to win those tickets here at Country Village Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I told you that I would talk to you about It Is Not a Scam, and I printed this off because I just had to read this to you, Boomer.
All right.
A Michigan State police trooper attempts to return $5,000 in lost cash to the owner, and his efforts are frustrated because the owner thought the calls were a scam. Michigan State Police trooper found the cash in the middle of a Monroe, Michigan road on Friday. Trooper contacted a nearby bank, which confirmed that a customer had just left the bank after making a withdrawal of that exact amount of cash that the trooper found in the middle of the road. Trooper tried calling the person who took the money out of their account, but soon discovered there was a problem. The man must have been listening to our public service announcements on being a victim of fraud and believed he was being scammed and hung up on the trooper several times, the Michigan State Police said on social media. The man was eventually convinced that the calls were not a scam and claimed ownership of the lost money. Here's my question.
Okay.
Boomer.
Yeah.
If you go to the bank and you take out $5,000, and then you get home and realize
you don't have, where did I put?
What did I do with that $5,000?
Laid it on top of the car, I bet.
And then
somebody
calls you and says, "Hey, I found your $5,000." No, you didn't. This is a scam. If you didn't lose $5,000 and someone calls you and tells you they found your $5,000, that is a scam.
Yeah. Send me a check and I'll give you your money.
Right.
No, that's a scam.
That's a scam. But if you
actually lost your maybe he didn't realize he had lost it.
I would have went and checked. That's what I thought. I thought, well, maybe he just didn't realize that he had lost the $5,000. But that would have been the time I would have went and checked.
Yeah.
On
one of them hang-ups.
I thought I put that in my glove box, but let me go check.
Yeah.
Oh, it ain't in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me star 69. That person, is that even a thing anymore?
I don't know if you can do that.
I don't know if you can either.
Not on cell phone.
But
star 69.
Showing my age.
You are.
But let me call them back and see if I can get a hold of that $5,000. I mean, anyway, they eventually got him his $5,000. But I'll tell you real quick, this actually happened to me just a few days ago. It's been about maybe, I say a few days, 2 weeks. I'm sitting I have an office at my house, and I'm sitting in my office and my cell phone rings. And I look down and, it's not a number I recognize, but I've gotten to where I recognize a lot of the, I get this number every day that calls me from Wrightsville, Arkansas, trying to sell me solar panels. But I didn't recognize this number. And being that, we have southarkansasnow.com and we get calls from all over America about stuff all the time. So I answer it. And this guy calls me by my name, Mr. Sanford. Yes. My name is whatever from Verizon.
Steve.
Yeah. No. But he did sound like, "Hello, Mr. Sanford. My name is Steve."
Yeah.
And so he calls me and he says, he's from Verizon. And he said, "The reason I'm calling is we noticed some strange activity on your account. Did you order 2 iPhone 16s at 12:03 a.m. this morning and having them shipped to League City, Texas. And I was like, no, I didn't do that. He said, great, I'm going to stop it. So he gets stopped. He said, listen, have you like shared your password with him? I said, no, I don't even remember my password half the time. I have it saved in a place where I have to go look for it to use my password for Verizon because I don't remember it. And he said, have you been using like public Wi-Fi? And I said, well, now I very well could have done that. I don't know. And he said, well, my recommendation would be to change your Verizon password. So I'm going to send you a link, click the link, and it's going to open in your Verizon app. So, you know, it's not a scam. He said, your Verizon app will open it. And then it's going to ask you to change your password. And he said, I'll be here with you on the phone. We'll go through the prompts, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So sure enough, you know, the link pops up through Verizon. It's not a text. My Verizon app pops up and says you have a new message. I click it and it's like, you know, do you want to change your password? Sure. So I'm going through the process of changing my password and he's like, he said, just for temporarily, just change your password to account and then the last 4 numbers of your phone number, which he knew the last 4 of my phone number. And he said, just change it to account and that. And I was like, no, why would I change it to, why wouldn't I just change it to
what I'm changing it to?
And he has this long explanation. And in the meantime, I went ahead and changed it. And, he says, you know, have you changed it? And I was like, yeah. And he said, okay, just a second. And then I get an alert and it says, I want to allow this one-time access to my account? And then under that, it says, Verizon will never call you and ask you to do this. Now, he had me going up until that moment. And he's like, okay, have you pressed the yes? No. Okay, I'm going to need you to press the yes so that I can stop the 2 iPhone from being charged to your account, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that, Steve. And he's like, no, sir, Mr. Sanford, you need to understand. If you want me to stop this charge of the 2 iPhone, you must press yes. I was like, see, I'm reading right here where it says Verizon will never call me and ask me to do this. And you're saying you're from Verizon, you're calling, and here's what he says, F to you. But he didn't just say F.
So he was hanging up then.
F to you. And he hung up.
Almost there, wasn't
but he nearly got me.
He almost got you.
I mean, he had enough information.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he knew my name, and I get it. It's not hard to find my name and my phone number, but when the alert came through my Verizon account. So anyway, after he hangs up with me and I then called Verizon and talked to someone who sounded a whole lot like this guy. Right. And I told him, I was like, listen, man, I'm not trying to be anything other than just a concerned customer, but the guy sounded like you know, I mean, and I knew it wasn't him, but I mean, you know, and he said, yes, I am understanding. He said, there is a problem. He said, obviously, you know, this is all farmed out over to India. And he said, I wish I could tell you that everyone who ends up working for, you know, the contractors are, you know, people with morals and scruples, but they're not.
Yeah.
And he said they have access to the software. They can do these things. And he said, you would be only the 10th or 11th person I've talked to today. And he's like, I've only been here for like 3 hours today. And he said, you'd be the 10th or 11th person I've talked to today.
And that's what they do for a living. Those guys just,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it was, that
was definitely a scam.
Nearly got me.
Yeah.
Nearly got me. So I did what any God-fearing, flag-waving, wall-building, swamp-draining American would do, and I bought another gun. Just in case. Come on over, Steve. I'll let you press yes.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3 places I want to go if it all falls apart. And your place would be a good place. And I've got 2 or 3 other places that I'd go within the county. Now, if the family has to meet up, I'm going to Eric's house.
Yeah. No question.
Because he went to Iraq twice.
That's right. You know, I remember, God bless him and rest in peace, Rodney Wimberly.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Rodney Wimberly, and for those of you who don't know, Rodney was a local libertarian. He was actually
don't tread on me, guy.
He was actually the state president of the Libertarian Party for quite a number of years. He was also a radio host. He had a show, Good Morning South Arkansas, or something like that. And Rodney was just an all around great guy. I loved him, and to his dying day. But he and I were going somewhere one time, and he's like, "Hey, you know I'm not going to go without my hog leg." And I was like, "That's fine." So we walk over to his truck, and he lifts up the back seat of his truck. And Boomer, I'm telling you, there were guns everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dozens of guns underneath the back seat of that truck. And I said, "Rodney, what are you scared of?" "Not a damn thing if I can get to this truck."
Not nothing.
No, nothing. I'm not scared of a thing. If I get to this truck, I'm not scared of a thing. Those were his words. "Not a damn thing if I can get to this truck."
Oh, Rodney.
Yeah. And
yeah,
lots of stories about that we can't tell either. But anyway, so, hey, that's going to do it for this edition of Off the Back Porch. Again, we want to thank our friends here at Country Village Sporting Goods for allowing us to come out and be here
had a
with
good
them.
time today out here.
Be here with them today. I think next week, if my calendar's correct, and I may be off by a week, but I think next week we're going to be at Davis Farms Country Market.
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's cool.
Look here. This podcast just got better.
Yeah.
I mean, sending pretty girls through here and everything. Yeah. And then she runs off behind them clothes over and said, I want you to talk to me. They were strangers. That's right, baby. Don't talk to us. We're Oh, she was just trying to go to the bathroom. She had to go all the way around Laura's house to get there because we had it all blocked off.
We got it blocked off.
Anyway, we appreciate you so much for being here with us this week. Be sure and talk to our sponsors when you see them and tell them thank you for being part of the show. We will see you next time on Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer.